What's up, Desert Rats? You're watching 5 on 20 News with Luc Goodhart, broadcasting live from our studio in downtown Tucson. It's Wednesday, September 13th. First, let's talk local headlines. Arizona Board of Regents Chairman Bill Ridenour says that he welcomes a lawsuit launched by Attorney General Mark Brnovich over steep increases in tuition. Ridenour said in a statement on Monday that the board has long resisted challenging the legislature over funding cuts that are mainly responsible for the rise in tuition. But Ridenour said that he's disappointed with the legal route that Brnovich took, since the AG never before expressed any concern over the university system's performance. He said the lawsuit is, quote, full of attacks and offers no constructive remedies. Brnovich filed the suit last Friday, accusing the state university system of raising tuition 300% over the past 5 years. The suit also alleges that state universities are violating the Constitution by allowing DACA recipients the chance to pay in-state tuition. The suit came in the same week that the Trump administration suspended the DACA program, which let those immigrants pay in-state tuition, be legally employed, and drive a car. Opponents of the lawsuit say that Brnovich is using the tuition issue as a cover to go after recipients of DACA. Brnovich denied the charges, then denied even knowing what DACA is, before cackling nervously and slowly backing out of the room. The city of Tucson is seeing a downward trend in homelessness, according to a citywide survey conducted in January. Volunteers went around to dozens of places where the homeless tend to camp out. This year's count showed more than 1,500 people on the street, about 200 less than there were in 2015. The 2015 number was also 200 less than the previous year, showing that homelessness is slowly decreasing. Officials with the Homeless Counts program say that one of the primary reasons for the downturn is due to the start of the Housing First program, which helped ease the rules required to get into shelters. Once in temporary housing, guests learn about ways to get into permanent housing. However, homelessness continues to be a problem in the city despite the good news. Volunteers at Z Mansion, which houses the homeless during hot summer days, say that they are seeing more young people showing up at their doors. They say that this fits a trend of millennials being kicked out of their parents' homes. Housing First says that they will be monitoring the trend, while millennial think piece writers will scoff louder than they've ever scoffed before. The charity Codys Friends brought back 13 dogs who got stuck in Hurricane Harvey in Houston. The group traveled to Houston with a collection of items donated by the community and brought back some furry friends before coming home. 8 of the dogs are now at the Southern Arizona Humane Society. Codys Friends team leader Megan Rombalski says that the dogs are doing well at the shelter. She says that 1 dog was given to a veteran and 4 have some medical issues, so she and several others who made the trip to Houston will be fostering them. Rombalski says that animal shelters in Houston were overcrowded with dogs, so she decided to bring back a group to find new homes in Tucson. She says the shelters were grateful for lightening their load and for the supplies the group dropped off. Many of the dogs in Houston shelters have what's called river rot, where their skin starts to come off after sitting in water for extended periods of time. Rombalski says that she plans to return with the group to Houston. She also thinks she'll head east to help out those affected by Hurricane Irma. If you'd like to help Codys Friends, visit their website at codysfriends.org. That's CODYSFRIENDS.org. Lawmakers from 19 Republican-dominated states met at the Arizona Capitol yesterday to come up with a plan to propose a federal balanced budget amendment. This is part of a 4-day meeting to discuss the plan, which seeks out 34 state legislatures to approve an amendment to the Constitution. So far, 27 Republican-dominated states have active requests to convene a convention on the amendment. In order to pass a constitutional amendment, 3/4 of states, which works out to 32, have to approve the amendment. A convention has never successfully been used to propose an amendment, as all 27 amendments were proposed by Congress. Congress debated a similar balanced budget amendment in the early and mid-90s, but it never passed. But with Republicans now controlling both chambers of government in 32 states, supporters are more confident than ever that they can get the amendment passed. State Representative Kelly Townsend said that she invited Democrat-majority states, but they had not been successful, although she says she's been, quote, begging for them to come. If passed, the federal government would be forced to work with a balanced budget and wouldn't be allowed to govern with a deficit. The bill is backed by conservative groups such as the American Legislative Exchange Council, or ALEC, and the Koch brothers backed Americans for Prosperity. Some really greasy company there. Supporters say that the goal is to eliminate the federal deficit, which is currently about $700 billion. Opponents say that a balanced budget amendment doesn't leave enough flexibility in the case of an economic disaster like that of 2008. In times like these, governments boost spending to spur more economic activity. According to a paper by the liberal-leaning Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, a balanced budget would cause large job losses and, quote, make recessions longer and deeper. The Arizona delegation responded saying, that's what she said. And I wanted to take a moment to talk about the program you're watching right now. Here at 5 on 20, we are undertaking a new kind of citizen journalism. We are going to give you the news as we see it, and we want more people to speak up with us. We need writers, hosts, anchors, camera people, sound people, the whole gamut. The times require a new way of informing ourselves, so join us, do it now. Email us at info@creativetucson.org to get involved. And if you think there's a story we're missing, a person we should interview, an upcoming event we should cover, or have any news tips for us at all, shoot an email to info@creativetucson.org. We are here for you, and we want to cover all stories from all points of view, so don't be strangers. Now in national and international news. According to a government watchdog, a top bank regulator is in his job illegally. Keith Noreika was named the temporary head of the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency in May after former Comptroller Thomas Curry stepped down. Naming him a special government employee allowed him to sidestep a Senate approval and ethics rules for members of the executive branch. Noreika was a corporate lawyer defending Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, and others until becoming head of the second most important bank regulator in the federal government. This would allow Noreika to return to the private sector, where he would be in demand due to his government connections. Instead of naming him comptroller, the Trump administration named him deputy comptroller, which allowed him to skirt the Senate nomination process. The position was considered temporary until the administration could permanently fill Curry's spot. Federal ethics laws, along with Trump's ethics pledge, would ban Noreika from communicating with government officials for 5 years. But if Noreika was made a special government employee, then he wouldn't be subject to these pesky rules. By having that title, he would be exempt from ethics rules, allowing him to go back and forth between his business clients and members of the government. But the condition was that Noreika could only hold the position for 130 days, which would have fallen on September 12th, yesterday. So as far as we know, Noreika still holds the position. Officials say that the rules apply to 130 business days, which means he would be able to stay until November. But the phrase business days doesn't appear in the original statute. Furthermore, there's a reference to 365 days in the statute, which clearly refers to a year. In addition, a Kennedy-era presidential memo states that, quote, a part of a day should be counted as a full day, and a Saturday, Sunday, or holiday should be counted equally with a regular workday. Sounds pretty clear. The nominee to take over the OCC, former One West Bank CEO Joseph Otting, just advanced through a Senate Banking Committee last week, but has yet to receive a vote on the Senate floor. Noreika said that he will remain in the position until Otting is confirmed. However, Otting is not currently on the Senate calendar for confirmation, and the chamber's schedule is packed for the next few months. Noreika plans to keep it on the low for a bit and move his office into a hallway closet until everybody forgets this whole thing. Seattle Mayor Ed Murray announced his resignation yesterday after a fifth man accused him of sexual abuse decades ago. Murray has denied the claims but said he would step down at 5 p.m. on Wednesday because it would interfere with his job of conducting the public's business. Murray made the announcement after the Seattle Times published a report of the fifth accusation. 4 men had previously accused Murray of sexually abusing them. One man named Delvon Heckard sued the mayor in April, claiming that Murray paid him for sex when he was a teen. Heckert eventually dropped the case, but said he would refile the suit after Murray was out of office. This year, Oregon's Department of Human Service discovered old files that involved a child welfare investigation into Murray. It claims that Murray sexually abused Jeff Simpson, who was Murray's foster child in the early 80s. The latest allegation was made by Joseph Dyer, Murray's first cousin once removed. He claims that when he was 13, Murray came to live with his family in Medford, New York. He says that in 1975, the two shared a bedroom, and Murray repeatedly molested him over the course of a year. He says that it only stopped after Murray was accused of abuse by a boy in a Catholic group home where Murray worked. Dyer told the Seattle Times that his uncle begged the group home not to pursue charges. Murray became mayor in 2013 and has been a champion of LGBT rights and led the campaign to legalize same-sex marriage in the state. As mayor, he also pushed to raise the city's minimum wage to $15 per hour. He also became a high-profile critic of the Trump administration and has defended sanctuary city policies in Seattle, which protect undocumented immigrants from federal immigration authorities. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Murray initially wanted to go into the priesthood before becoming a politician, but felt there was too much corruption. Ooh. Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey said that the state would sue credit reporting company Equifax over a data breach affecting 143 million people. Healey said that an investigation revealed that over 3 million people in Massachusetts were affected by the data breach, revealing that consumers' names, birth dates, social security, and driver's license numbers were compromised. Healey said that, quote, "This may be the most brazen failure to protect consumer data that we've ever seen." Equifax announced the breach last Thursday, saying that the breach occurred sometime in May or June of this year. The lawsuit will allege that the company failed to maintain appropriate safeguards protecting consumer data, which is a violation of Massachusetts consumer protection laws. Other state attorneys general have launched similar suits, including the states of New York and Pennsylvania. Lawmakers in Washington have also been raising questions about Equifax's failure to safeguard information, such as Senator Mark Warner, who requested an investigation by the Federal Trade Commission. Equifax tried to deny the charges via email, but were promptly hacked, resulting in hundreds of credit cards being taken out in Mark Warner's name. In a surprising bipartisan vote, the House voted to approve a law that limits the expansion of asset forfeiture by law enforcement. The Making America Secure and Prosperous Appropriations Act rolls back the expansions instituted by Attorney General Jeff Sessions. These expansions would have made it easier for law enforcement to take assets from a person suspected of a crime, even without a charge or conviction. Last month, Sessions revived the so-called equitable sharing program, which allowed state and local police to take assets and then give them to the federal government, who would then give a chunk back to local police. This would help local police avoid state laws that limit civil forfeiture set up during the Obama administration. But the bill approved yesterday would roll back Sessions' elimination of the Obama-era rules. The bill was sponsored by a bipartisan group of 9 members, led by Republican Justin Amash of Michigan and joined by Democratic Representatives Ro Khanna of California, Washington's Pramila Jayapal, and Hawaii's Tulsi Gabbard. It was also supported by a host of conservative Republicans and progressive Democrats. It's nice to see we can at least agree that the government shouldn't be able to steal our stuff. Maybe we'll be okay after all. This was 5 on 20 News with Luc Goodhart. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our YouTube and Facebook accounts for all the latest Creative Tucson content. And feel free to bother us at info@creativetucson.org. Thanks, Tucson. Stay cool, stay kind, stay creative.